All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Grandview, USA, 1984. This is going to be another Troy. All right, let me start over. This is going to be another Troy Donahue movie. I'm a little tired in case you didn't notice. I worked 24 hours in the last 2 days. Anyways.
24 hours, LOL, that's too much.
24 hours in 2 days. That's a lot of work. Anyways.
So, Daddy, should I go on my Minecraft world where I found that cross?
Okay, go there.
Oh, jeez, that's creepy. I don't know if your line is actually real.
A lot of big name actors in this one. Jamie Lee Curtis, Emmet Walsh, who's in it for about 5 minutes. He punches the main guy.
Can you show you?
While he's watching a demolition derby. Half the time he's watching Jamie Lee Curtis. The other half he's watching the demolition derby.
Nervous. Should I show the cross to your fans?
I don't think they'll be able to see it because I got it in 360 view.
Well, you hold it. I don't know. This is creepy.
They can only see the side of my head, probably. Anyways.
I'll try to show it. Can you see a cross? That's a cross.
Oh, okay.
The sign of Herobrine.
Wow.
That's so creepy. Like, what the heck? I saw YouTubers.
Troy Donahue's pretty good in this one. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was all right. My son didn't like it, but he only saw the last half of it.
I'm sweaty.
Anyways.
Why is there weird noise?
Jamie Lee Curtis gets naked in this one. And
they fold across.
There's a pretty funny scene with the.
Why am I smiling? What the? This is creepy shit.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Janet Jason Leigh? Is that her name? The girl from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She's cheating on her husband, played by Patrick Swayze, of all people. He's one of the better demolition derby drivers. And her lover boy is Troy Donahue. He's got the pimp gold chains going and the Trans Am. So Patrick Swayze catches him in his Trans Am, and he starts stomping on the hood and like kicking the lights out and stuff. And later on, there's a funny scene where he's like bulldozing the house where they used to live, taken over by Troy Donahue.
That looked like the atomic bomb explosion.
Oh.
That big explosion, I like that.
Oh, you like the explosion? I like explosions too.
Why do I see this weird person walking around? Is that here? Oh, Jesus.
So it takes place in this Midwestern town in Illinois somewhere, Grandview.
Why the heck am I smiling?
It's got the white picket fence and the dog named Spot and all that kind of thing. 1984. It's a nice little lily white town. And Jamie Lee Curtis runs a demolition derby. She's losing all kinds of money. I didn't really care for the dad character. He was kind of like a greedy developer kind of guy. He wants to turn the demolition derby into like a golf course or something. And he's using corruption on this city council to condemn the property or something like that. I couldn't really follow, but anyways. So the high school kid, the valedictorians, whose dad is a greedy developer, he's got the hots for Jamie Lee Curtis. So does Patrick Swayze. A little love triangle going up on there. There's this retarded boy named Cowboy.
Yeah, that's a weird name.
And he burns down the demolition derby at the end because he's angry that Jamie Lee Curtis sold all of his so-called cars, all of so-called his cars, I should say. And so his way of getting revenge is to burn down the demolition derby, which really doesn't make sense because if she sold all of her cars that belonged to cowboys, supposedly, then how is she able to still do the demolition derby prior to the fire? Another plot hole there.
Why did I fall into a pit?
Not a really good film. Like I said, the only funny part was Patrick Swayze bulldozing Janet Jason Leigh, or whatever her name is, her house with Troy Donahue in it. That was pretty funny. That was the only part when I actually laughed, but the rest of the movie was pretty lame. Not real good. But, not a really good movie, but I suppose it could have been better. I don't know. I just couldn't get into the characters at all. Jamie Lee Curtis is divorced, and she's going after the high school kid while trying to hang on to Patrick Swayze, who's drunk most of the time. So it's kind of like a soap opera, not real exciting. Lots of dialogue and stuff, but I think Troy Donahue is the reason to watch, which is why I got this movie in the first place. Although I do want to see all of the Emmet Walsh movies. Of course, Troy Donahue plays a more prominent role in this one than compared to Emmet Walsh. The kid takes his high school prom night date.
Why do I keep on seeing this weird?
And they get stuck in the mud, and her dress gets all muddy. So what does her father, Emmet Walsh, do? He punches in the stomach while he's scoping out Jamie Lee Curtis half the time and watching the demolition derby the other half of the time. So Patrick Swayze goes to jail for demolishing his wife's house with the bulldozer. I'm sure that's what every divorced man would want to do in his dreams, but not a good thing to do in real life. Nevertheless, Jamie Lee Curtis sprung him out of jail. I'm not sure how she was able to pull that off, but they kissed through the bars. My son didn't like that scene. And
that's weird. How do they kiss through the bars? Optical illusion.
Optical illusion.
Best optical illusion 2019.
No, this movie came out in 1984. Anyways, it's got the new wave music in it, kind of deal, and it's got the MTV music video. The kid's watching MTV, and he just all of a sudden gets sucked in like he's part of the music video on MTV or something. So there's that, and not a real good flick. I'm looking forward to my next two.
I'm not studying anymore.
I think I've got Broken Vassals and Fred Olin Ray movie with Troy Donahue. So I'm looking forward to checking out Fred Olin Ray. He's right up there with Don Dohler, Coffin Joe, Herschel Gordon Lewis, all of the Ed Wood Jr., all the great B-movie directors. Fred Olin Ray is right up there, and I think he was a professional wrestler on the side. I'm not mistaken. So when I do the Fred Olin Ray movie review, I'll be sure to post some wrestling clips of him in the ring, like
John Cena?
catching. No,
Dun, dun, dun,
I
dun.
think his name was Johnny Valentine or something. I used to have magazines with him in it, fighting Abdullah the Butcher and guys like that. Anyways, let's see my review later.